Cowboy Chronicles, the Oklahoman's Oklahoma State football podcast. I am your host, Scott Wright, joined by Jacob Unruh. And Jacob, we're in a different seat, but we're still back at Stonecloud.
We are. Actually, I might like this seat.
This is kind of nice, really.
It's kind of nice.
This is good. This is a good spot. It's a little bit closer to the bar, which would be best for after the podcast.
Yeah,
but still good for now. I like this. I like this.
It's a little cozy in this kind of corner.
It's kind of nice.
I like it. Yeah,
kind of fun. All right, lots to talk about. We'll get into what Mike Gundy had to say earlier today when we spoke to him. We got a fun group of players that we won't get to tell these people about, but we got a fun group to talk to tonight. Looking forward to that. We'll get into our thoughts on the win and look ahead to the Kansas game. Obviously, got to talk, most importantly, about what you're drinking there.
Yes,
I like your setup
This
there.
is not two. This is an empty can. I just had to show off the can.
It's a fun can.
I usually go drafts here, but I did a can for Cascade Crusher. Mm-hmm. It's a Session Saison. I love Saisons.
Say that 7 times super fast.
Session Saison, Session Saison, Session Saison, Session Saison, Session Saison, Session Saison, Session Saison.
Okay, all right. That qualifies.
Look at that.
Well done.
Look at that. Enunciate.
That's right.
I've talked about how much I love Saisons on here before, and so I had to do this one. It's a collaboration with Empire Pizza, which we talked about in our pizza draft.
Right,
I think we brought up Empire.
Yes, we did.
In this, and so it's a collaboration. So I tried it, and it is fantastic.
Super.
Like, I took a drink before, and I got really excited at how good it was.
All right. Good deal. I went with a brand new one, just been out for a few days here. Mm-hmm. Chinook me all night long.
It's an AC/DC can. I've seen it.
Yes, the can looks really cool. I went with the draft, so I don't get to show off the can like you do. But really excited about this. Good stuff.
So AC/DC, which we've heard here play in this brewery before.
We have.
So
and that is
AC/DC takes me back to middle school, high school basketball practices for me.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. So, yeah.
Thunderstruck. And, yeah.
Back in Black.
Right.
Everything like
there
that.
There you go. Good stuff.
And shook me all night long.
Exactly.
Or chinook me all night long, whatever you want to say.
Exactly. All right. Well, we want to remind people about the newsletter, the Oklahoman.com Oklahoma State sports newsletter that we contribute to. Haven't discussed what's in it this week, but it'll be great.
It'll be good.
We know. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, go into the comments and drop your score prediction for this week. You can win a beer that we will drink for you next week. This one belongs to Go Pokes 1983.
Okay.
He was really close on the score. 27-25 was his final with OSU winning.
Wow.
Now, I'll also take a celebratory sip for John, who predicted 29-21, but
K-State
timestamp caught him. It was after the game.
Oh.
So he almost had me though. I came across it and I'm like, there's no way this is real. And
they're not as good as Jacob at picking scores.
No, exactly. 15? Who predicts 15?
Who predicts 29?
Right, exactly. So John almost snuck that one in there on me. All right, well, I would say probably our least eventful chat with Mike Gundy today.
Yeah, pretty tame.
It was not a lot, but after 2 really difficult weeks, it was we got into a lot of tougher subjects with him the last, say, 3 interview sessions we've had, not counting post games. So it was, after a win, it was a little bit less there's less concern on the table to be dissected. Anything that really jumped out to you?
I mean, Alan Bowman's the quarterback. Breaking news.
Right.
No, I mean, he was asked, and Bowman is the quarterback.
Yes.
The quarterback battle is officially over.
Yes.
That jumped out. I think one thing that really jumped out to me was how they prepare for Kansas's quarterback situation.
Right.
Because I thought it was interesting because they've had their own issues at quarterback, and it makes it difficult for teams to prepare because they knew there were 3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But now LSU has to prepare for 2. But Gundy says they're just preparing for Jason Bean.
Right.
They're preparing like Jalen Daniels is not going to play. Mm-hmm. He didn't practice today, so he's I assume he's not going to play at this point.
It's going to be tough.
But, prepare for Jason Bean and not what it says. They don't change much with the quarterbacks based on who's in there, so it doesn't make much difference. I thought that was fascinating.
And we talked about this. They haven't actually faced Jalen Daniels except in 2020 when he came in when the game was well out of hand already. And kind of played in some mop-up duties. So,
I think he threw for like 5 yards and rushed for 4 yards on 4 carries.
Right.
Like it was,
got sacked a couple of times.
Yeah.
So they've really missed him since he's sort of taken over the job and really emerged as a talented playmaker in that system.
Which I'm kind of sad about. I was thinking about it as I was writing about that today. I was like, it'd been fun to cover Jalen Daniels.
Right.
Like the Jalen Daniels. Instead, we've never
this is the guy that was being talked about as preseason Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. This is a legit quarterback and really does a lot in that offense that makes them more dangerous. And I know Gundy tried to downplay it and say they got to focus on Bean, but this guy's a playmaker.
Yeah.
And a really special athlete. So
Bean's not as willing to freelance with football like Daniels is. And I think that's going to be the difference. But we also got to watch out for Kansas' running backs.
Right.
Because they're running all over teams
They really are. They really are. And, Gundy basically referred to it as kind of a triple option because they always have a quarterback run, a pitch type element to every run play, it seems. But, Devin Neal was the guy last year up in Lawrence that torched Oklahoma State. Daniel Highshaw has been a really strong player, and you talked to Gundy about his recruitment of Daniel Highshaw, which I guess I had maybe moved on to the OSU beat, but you were still covering him.
I was, yes, I covered him in high school, and Highshaw, which actually Daniel Highshaw Jr. I'm not sure he has a junior on his name, but he has it on his jersey. I saw him on his jersey the other day. But anyways, was a kid at Moore High School who played quarterback, played safety corner. I think might have returned kicks, but did everything for Moore. And Moore was pretty good, and he was a huge reason why. And in his recruitment, he wanted to play quarterback. Schools saw running back, they saw cornerback, they saw receiver, they saw all these different things. Receiver maybe maybe not as much, not tall, but it kind of like they didn't know what to do with him. And I asked Mike simply, I said, "Did you recruit him?" Because they didn't offer, and he said, "Yeah, we didn't offer," but he said, he was a safety, and they saw him. They thought about the idea of moving to running back. They were afraid he wouldn't be able to gain the weight needed to do it. Clearly, he has. Gundy flat out said, "We missed on him." They missed on the kid, and Gundy doesn't admit that too often, but they missed on Highshaw, which I think is really fascinating because they're not the only ones who missed. But it's really fascinating to me that his journey because he's dealt with injuries, he's missed a lot of time the last couple of seasons because of various injuries, and now he's back, he's healthy, and that offense is way better, I think, with those two guys.
Yeah, it absolutely is. These flies are getting a little bit.
They got worse. They're getting intense on us.
Yeah, they don't like
the
us.
The spot just dropped down a couple of rankings.
Exactly. But yeah, Highshaw, it's been fascinating to watch because you didn't know what was going to happen with his career when he got there. They were obviously a very different team when he signed, and now he's been a big part of the rejuvenation of Kansas football. So, been really fun to watch him have the success that he's had there. So other things that Gundy touched on, he got into the offensive line and kind of some of the things that they've done to simplify the schemes. The goal became a few weeks ago to just get really good at a few things and do those well. And I try not to overplay the impact of Dalton Cooper at left tackle. But a lot of this coincides. Yeah. He's been, according to Pro Football Focus, their best graded offensive lineman since he's moved there all season. Over the weekend, for Friday night's game, he was their best graded offensive player, period. So his impact and bringing some continuity to that group is really important. Now, you still got to have four other guys playing well, and they're doing that and mixing in Cole Birmingham at left guard, which I think is probably a good idea because I think he's probably better suited because of the ACL, to be at guard rather than particularly left tackle. So I think that's a good move. He's a good run blocker and can be a powerful guy. Jason Brooks sounds like maybe he's dealing with some little bit of maybe some minor injuries, some dings here and there. So get him some rest as well by doing that. But that group seems to have really come together. You got Springfield back at right tackle, which he's a veteran there that's played a ton. Now Cooper at left, and it really seems to have solidified that group. And obviously they were much better than I anticipated them being able to be against the Kansas State defense. Giving up 73 yards a game on the ground, and Ollie on his own almost doubled that.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise not to me. Is how well that offensive line played. We talked about that, I think, the other night on the way home. But that improvement alone, I think Dalton Cooper, I think you've really got to put a lot there. But I just think that the continuity. They're not losing guys to a bunch of injuries. The biggest thing is it's solidified. They don't have to move a bunch of guys around now. Yeah. And in the last few years, they've had to do a bunch of shuffling, a bunch of different things, and now they've got some continuity, which helps. It's not a perfect line by any means. I'm not saying that, but I like the growth because I felt like Iowa State they took big steps forward last week. Now let's see if they can do it against Kansas, because even Gundy said the biggest thing now is doing this again. Yeah. Repeating what they can do. And you start to feel like they can. You start to feel a little bit of confidence here in their ability to do that. Yeah.
The most fascinating trend to me, I know you wrote about it in the numbers over the weekend. I've written about it a couple of different times in a couple of different ways, including my rewind that'll be coming out on Tuesday. Ollie Gordon's numbers, when they really pound the ball with him, really feature him as the guy, are insanely good. Yeah. Almost 2 yards a carry better when he gets double-digit carries in a game. So it's not just he gets more carries so he gets more yards. That's not what it is. His yards per carry is 6.4 when he gets double-digit carries, 4.5 when he doesn't. And
it's crazy.
He proved those numbers out again over the weekend. 21 carries, a career high, matched his career high in rushing yards at 136. The ability for him to just get rolling and be able to produce the way that he is, it almost makes it feel, and obviously running back, they've got to save guys, got to protect guys, but it almost makes the running back rotation of the first 3 games feel even sillier than the quarterback rotation.
Yeah, it does. It does, but I get the saving because I think we're going to see Elijah Collins got mixed in a little bit more than I think we're going to see games where Ollie's going to do that, but I don't think he's going to do it every game. Right, because they learned with Chuba. Yeah. I think especially when they learned, hey, they can't keep putting 20, 30 carries on a guy every week and him not break down. Even for a guy like Chuba Hubbard who's having a Heisman-type season, right? He broke down late. And so I think Jalen Warren broke down late. Mm-hmm. And so I think you've got to preserve them somehow, and Ollie's too important. So I think we're going to see it mix up. But those numbers, man, they're so telling that the importance of a guy like Ollie Gordon, because I still think that South Alabama game, they didn't give him the ball nearly enough. When we got going, they had the penalties, they had the play stopped for a review, things like that really could have kept him going. You start feeding him, and maybe would change that game.
Yeah, exactly. So, moving over to the defensive side of the ball in terms of what Mike Gundy had to say, he said some interesting things I thought about Cameron Epps. For one, he mentioned that, he gets a lot of attention from last weekend because he finished plays. Yeah. Makes the interception, catches the other one, goes back to the house for a touchdown. If he just knocks those passes down, maybe people aren't as excited about him. But he said that guys who show a knack or an ability to finish plays like that early in their career, it tends to carry on over throughout their career and be something that they're...
Jason Taylor, anybody?
Exactly. Exactly. We talked about him for 2 straight years on this podcast. Yeah. So, yeah, he is absolutely that type of guy. And we might be seeing, the emergence of the next guy in that lineage right there, because Cameron Epps certainly looks like he's got the skill to put himself in the right place. Yeah. And then the ability to finish those plays.
How much of a leap did he take between his first start and second start? That was crazy. Ridiculous.
Yeah, really pretty crazy. And Mike Gundy pointed out that's the next step. Is doing it over and over again. He's only started 2 games, really only played a small total in overall snaps. He's going to see things he's never seen on a football field still. This week will be a big challenge with what they do in the run game, and he's going to be obviously important in controlling that and helping there. So, but newcomer of the week in the Big 12, which I wasn't sure he was eligible for. Having played in 4 games last year, I didn't know what the ruling was there, but he got himself an award for it. So
I found that most people consider him he's a freshman. He's not just a redshirt freshman; he's just a freshman.
Yeah, that's fair. OSU had a good case for several awards.
Yeah, they should have gotten Special Teams Player of the Week.
That really surprised me that Alex Hale did not get it for his 5 field goals, including a 53-yarder. And then, of course, Nick Martin, 17 tackles, a sack and an interception. That's
But Epps had the pick 6. This is kind of the difference maker.
Right, exactly.
There. So
yeah. As someone who is voted on the Big 12 Weekly Awards, I've noticed that like touchdown plays by guys that aren't supposed to score touchdowns carry a lot of weight with the voting.
I mean, I voted for basketball. I never voted for football. I've done the basketball voting before. So, yeah, stuff like that, big point totals in basketball against teams that, might be an upset or tough opponents, kind of carry a little more weight than some other stuff. For some people. I mean, I voted the year Cade was at OSU. Mm-hmm. And OSU, Cade popped up nominated almost every week.
Right.
And it got real hard because it's like, he has the numbers, but who's he doing it against?
Right.
Got to consider some of that. So that's kind of fun.
And you had the issue of he's always in the running for player of the week and newcomer of the
week. Yes, every time. Almost. It was like, you had to. So sometimes I'm like, I can pick him for this, but not this.
You gotta spread the cake out a little bit for everybody. Makes sense. All right. Other things that Gundy talked about that I asked him about Justin Kirkland after the official interview was over, and I thought that this game was the epitome of what Justin Kirkland can do in this defense. Not a single tackle, not an assist, nothing. But you saw him clogging running lanes in the middle. You saw him getting pressure on the quarterback even if he didn't get a sack. And he made a big impact in a lot of different little ways that don't show up on a stat sheet. And that's what this guy's strength is always going to be. Yeah. Gundy basically said he's a roadblock. And that's the role that he fills, and he did it really well. I think it was a really important piece of what they were able to do in stopping the run. And I think that his value is going to continue to go up in this defense because they need that piece in the middle to let their defensive ends and their linebackers go make plays, and even their safeties in some instances. So, and I think Colin Clay is playing really well too.
Yeah, that's Gundy pointed to Colin Clay too, directly pointing to him.
Exactly, that's a new position for him. He's a smaller guy, quicker guy than Kirkland.
Smaller guy. Colin Clay's huge.
Right, exactly.
That's
6'3", 310. He's the small one. Yeah, exactly.
I stood next to Colin Clay last week. He's a big man.
He absolutely is. He absolutely is. And but they're both, being different kinds of guys, but still both very impactful. And that position has been better than I anticipated it would be when they made the move to this defense. I was curious what exactly that would look like when you're taking guys who haven't really been a nose tackle before and asking them to be that. So, very important development there. Anything else from Mike Gundy's chat that stood out? He doubled down on his take on the red zone offense, on why they
they just said that Kansas State kicked their ass.
Yes,
which
exactly.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
I mean, not much else to be added there. I thought it was fascinating his talk about what he did on Saturday with no game and how he sat in his house and watched football and took notes, and he's stealing plays from people. I thought that was fascinating, really funny. He's stealing plays. Talked about Arizona play they ran against USC, specifically against Mason Cobb. He pointed out Mason Cobb in that one. It felt like a little tiny jab there, maybe. But pointed that out. But also, his review of the OU Texas game and how good Dylan Gabriel was stands out to a lot of people, which for good reason. Gabriel played great, but I think Gundy's already saying that guy's incredible. So I think that was all really great insight to kind of Mike Gundy's mind a little bit there too.
Right. And, we've experienced it because we're used to also working on Saturdays.
Yeah. It's
a very different experience to just be sitting at home all day on a Saturday and have football on. So it sounds like Gundy really took advantage of it with his Big Chief tablet and his crayon, getting after it.
Yeah, he did. And he doesn't have kids at home anymore.
Right.
So, I legitimately believe he just sat in his chair and watched football all day.
Yes.
He doesn't have kids at home. So
no, I can absolutely believe that. Yeah. So, anything else from Gundy that
no? What about
stood
you?
out? No, I think that's like you said. It was a fairly tame day. He didn't go off the rails. I thought his NIL comments were much stronger today than they were last time he was at. Was that last week? I think.
Yeah, last week. He asked about it. Yeah, last week.
Yeah, much stronger in his support of NIL ideas. Basically said if someone came to him and said, "Do we build this facility or do we save it for NIL?" He didn't even wait.
Put the money in the bank.
Put the money in the bank. Didn't even wait for the end of the question. Jumped right on it, which is an interesting situation considering they are trying to build a lot of facilities.
I thought about that too. I thought, wait a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, he understands. And, again, people get fired up about certain things with him. He does not like NIL.
No,
He
but
does
he
not
understands
like the transfer portal. He knows that he has to use them to the benefit of his program. And maybe he's been slow in adapting, but he understands the value and the need. So that's that whole conversation, I thought, though, was very interesting because he was much stronger in his statement about NIL this time around. So, all right, with that,
is Stonecloud six-pack time?
Stonecloud six-pack.
Here we go. What's the good stuff? Here we go.
All right, let's do this thing.
I did my homework again, everybody.
Yes, of course, which means that I haven't actually even told you what the three categories are.
Not a clue. Here we go.
All right, a little bit broader questions this week. Number one, to start off the Stonecloud six-pack, will Oklahoma State be over or under 37.5 pass attempts against Kansas on Saturday?
Under.
Going under. All right. They threw 35 against K-State.
Kansas, back-to-back Sunflower State games, tough. Kansas secondary is better than Kansas State's right now, so I think it's less.
Okay. All right. I can see that. I'm going over.
Okay.
I think that they have to throw the ball more. I don't see them getting a lead where they're trying to run the clock as much. I think they end up throwing the ball more. Next up in the Stonecloud six-pack, will any player, we just saw 17 tackles from Nick Martin. Hadn't seen that many in a game by a Cowboy since Jordan Stearns.
Yeah, I didn't cover Jordan Stearns, so that was a long time ago.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't cover Jordan Stearns either.
I did not. Will any player be over 11.5 tackles in this game? Anybody over 11 and a half?
Yes.
Going over? All right.
I think 12. I think someone's going to get 12, 13.
You want to venture a guess as to who that will be?
Nick Martin.
Oh, okay. All right, then.
As much as they run the ball, I'm going Nick Martin on
that. That's probably the safe call.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over as well, but just for fun, I'm going to say Kendall Daniels.
That was my first instinct, but I thought as much as they run the ball, middle linebacker again seems like the safe bet.
Makes a lot of sense. All right. So through 5 games, we've seen OSU score 27 exactly on the nose 3 times.
Right. Can't get past 29.
Right.
29's the high.
I haven't reached the 30s yet. So I'm gonna change it. I was gonna say over or under 27 points, but now I'm saying will they get to 30? Yes or no?
Yes.
Going with it.
I think the offense is improving. I think we're going to see it on the scoreboard. I think we're going to start to see some improvements.
All right. I am going under.
Under.
30. I would have gone under 27. I think they got a really good chance to win this game.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. So
okay, that's
all
fine.
right. With that brings us to the draft on the back.
All right, here we go. We're halfway through
of the Stonecloud six-pack. The flies are rough today. I apologize.
They're
to
aggressive.
Those watching on video.
They really are aggressive.
All right. So for this one, our draft, we're going after-school snacks. It's been a very popular topic at my house lately.
Oh, has it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. High school kid. He's a freshman.
Yeah.
He's displeased with the quality of the after-school snacks that I'm providing.
What does he want?
That's the problem. He won't tell me what he wants. He just wants them to be better.
What are you providing?
A variety of wide variety of things, but apparently not wide enough. So, anyway, going back to our childhoods.
Oh man,
which were not that long ago.
Not that long ago at all.
After school snacks. What was the thing you were most looking forward to when you got home? And as always, being the nice guy I am, you go first.
Cheese was always one of my snacks.
Okay, we're going American unwrapping.
Like that.
Singles.
Like
I was a big fan of that too.
I was weird sometimes to put just Miracle Whip on them and roll them, or
no, that's weird. That's absolutely.
I told you. I don't know.
That qualifies as weird.
But cheese, is just.
I got no problem with cheese.
Cheese has always been a snack of mine. I don't do those anymore. I do cheese sticks or string cheese or whatever. But that's still a go-to snack of mine.
Absolutely.
So it's cheese for me.
Big time good. No arguments there.
What'd you put a charcuterie board out for?
Say what?
Charcuterie. Right? Say Here's some cheese and meats for you.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's not a bad idea.
There you go.
I might just do that.
Yeah. Say you want fancy, you get fancy.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. I'm going with, it didn't matter. It didn't have to be just after school.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then Mom would drop one of these in the lunchbox at school. I was obsessed with them for a while in college. If I could, I would still go. Well, I could, but I choose not to now because I for other reasons. But the fruit roll up.
Oh yeah.
I love the fruit roll up. Spectacular. Now, when you eat the fruit roll up, do you like you peel it off? Do you like pull a piece off? Do you bite
It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Sometimes I roll in a ball and just shove the whole ball in my mouth. That's what I mostly did.
That's my preferred method as well.
Yeah.
I would
just put it in there. It's like you got a big, it's like a baseball player.
Exactly.
You got something in your cheek there.
Exactly.
You know, and,
exactly.
That's not the kind that'll kill you.
Exactly. It might turn your tongue red.
Yes.
Which is
yes.
fantastic.
So all right, that's good.
All right, round 2 to you.
Mine was actually. So I'll go in the same category. Gushers.
Yeah. So
I loved Gushers, and I would go home and eat like 3 packs of them because you can't have just one.
Right.
Because there's like 6 pieces, and you're just like, that's just not enough. So Gushers.
That came along, toward the end of my school days.
Yeah.
That was I was a little bit out of the out of the target audience for those, so I didn't experience those a lot. But solid choice.
Yeah.
Solid choice. I'm going to venture away from the fruit snack category. I'm going with Hot Pockets.
Okay, I didn't do Hot Pockets.
Really. I was a big fan of the Hot Pocket. Usually burned my mouth.
Absolutely.
5 times a week, but big fan of the Hot Pocket. Always loved it. Didn't matter. I was, lots of different varieties. Now, I was in the early days of the Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
There was pepperoni and beef and sausage. It was pretty much pretty basic. Your pizza flavors branched out later, but I was always a big fan of the Hot Pocket. All right.
Now I got a debate here.
Last round.
I have a couple options.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with pizza rolls. Like the Totino's,
right, the smaller ones.
Yeah,
right?
the smaller ones. Yeah, those are good.
Big time good.
I got excited about those as a kid.
Oh yeah.
And I get excited to go home and have those. Those were good. That's real high on the list. Those would burn your mouth too.
Mm-hmm.
But those were so good too. I would still eat those. I haven't had those in I don't know how long, but I would eat some of those now.
Nothing wrong with a good pizza roll. All right, I'm going to. I don't think we've ever drafted cookies on here. I think I've got it on my list for potential drafts in the future.
I thought about going cookies in this last pick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sticking with my pick, but what would your cookie have
Oreo.
Been? Oreo. That's number 2 on my list. Yeah. Number 1, Chips Ahoy. Just an old school crunchy Chips Ahoy. Yeah. Don't ask me why I liked this, but I would get 2 pieces of bread and put Chips Ahoy cookies in the middle of the bread and make it a Chips Ahoy sandwich.
You think I'm weird?
Hey, it's not mayonnaise. I'm not putting mayonnaise on something. Let's be honest here. But it was weird. I'm not saying it wasn't weird, but it's not mayonnaise on cheese.
just didn't have them meat and bread for a sandwich.
Yes, exactly. All right, but yeah, so that was the Chips Ahoy.
The cookie is supposed to be the bread with like ice cream, not bread with cookies.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay. No, it was odd. My mom really didn't care for me doing it. I'm pretty sure she shut it down after a few experiments with that. But the Chips Ahoy, I'm still a big fan of the Chips Ahoy. I'll still sneak some of
the other thing, I was almost going to say chips too. Like whatever chips we had in the house, I'd go home and eat.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So mostly Doritos were always my favorite. They're still my favorite. Or like a Lay's potato chip, but like I backed off that. But
yeah.
Nowadays, like I eat like cheese sticks, and like I'll do there's like a chicken jalapeno sausage I get from Trader Joe's.
Ooh.
And I'll make I'll put it on a piece of bread with some mustard.
Yep.
And now Cohen, my 3-year-old, who turns 3 in like a week and a half, wants to get a piece of bread like me with a little bit of mustard and a cold hot dog.
Uh-huh.
And like he's doing the same thing too. But he ends up not eating the bread. He usually ends up eating the hot dog. But he just tries to mimic it for a little bit. So it's really cute. So.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know when or why I stopped, but I did enjoy a cold hot dog when I was a kid.
I love cold hot dogs. Cold hot dogs and cold pizza.
Yeah. Big time fan.
I'll do a cold hot dog. Every once in a while, Cohen, like if I cut it, he doesn't eat all the hot dog. I'll eat the rest of it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
That's
Cold
a
pizza.
that's a normal parent thing.
Yeah.
Your dinner is whatever they did.
Yeah,
eat.
yeah. Cold pizza sometimes in the morning, like a cold pepperoni pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, I do believe we have wrapped it all up from here at Stonecloud. We can enjoy the rest of these.
Yes.
Of course, go subscribe to our newsletter. Drop your score prediction in the comments so you can win a beer that we will drink for you next week. And with that, thank you for watching and listening to the Cowboy Chronicles.